Hey guys, Dr. Steph from Living Health Integrative Medicine, and I'm at my good friend Janice's house, and we're going to do something fun today. She's asked me to come and audit her pantry cupboard, and I'm allowed to pick what we can keep and what we can toss based on how healthy or unhealthy it is. So let's have at it. We're going to go through a few things, and some of this stuff I can tell she's like gotten some good stuff based on our food testing and some of our plate rule recommendations. Like this is a pancake waffle mix, and it's grain-free and gluten-free. And so it's got tapioca, almond flour, coconut flour, whole egg flour, which for many people is fine. Some people might have some immune reactions to it. Organic coconut sugar, potato flakes, sweet potato flour, and it's got some salt and some gar gum. So generally this is a good product for most people, and it's not super high carbohydrates, hardly any added sugar. So that's a keep. Let's check grape nuts. You guys remember grape nuts? Like they were supposed to be super healthy, right? So we've got whole grain wheat. Well, most of our patients are wheat intolerant and gluten intolerant, so that would be probably a toss. The second ingredient is wheat flour, and the third ingredient is actually sugar, if you can believe that. So there's 35 grams of carbs in 1 cup of this cereal, with 3 grams of added sugars for a total of 7. Malted barley flour, which is another gluten product, and canola or soybeans. So canola oil, even if it's organic, will clog your arteries. It's really bad for the brain and your cardiovascular system. And soybean oil, well, if you're a guy, it contributes to man boobs. It is estrogenic to the body, and that is not good. And then there's a whole bunch of added vitamins that are not in their good form. So I would say this one is a toss. Better off with, a gluten-free cereal, like just straight up Quaker Oats. There you go, right? Because the only thing in here is Quaker Oats, so that's a keep. Okay, so let's look at nuts. We do talk about eating nuts on the plate rule. We say raw, organic, sprouted, like almonds or pecans. This is Planters dry roasted, honey roasted peanuts. So let's see what's in here aside from just peanuts, right? So I think I'm going to need the magnifying glass. Okay, so the first ingredient, thankfully, is peanuts. That'd be weird if it wasn't. But the second ingredient is sugar, then peanut oil, which is not going to be healthy, then honey, and then corn syrup. So we have 3 different kinds of sugar on these nuts. So let's see what the total sugars is. Actually 4 grams of sugar in 1 ounce of nuts, which is not that many pieces of nut. And then they've added sea salt and fructose, which is more sugar, and then cornstarch, which is more sugar. So there's like 4 or 5 sugars in here that all cause inflammation. Most of them are corn derived. I would say this is a toss. So we're gonna toss that. So then let's look at this other snack. This is like raisins. So I pulled this out earlier because we were trying to do some math on this. And this is what I tell patients. So, for most of our patients, their fruit serving of grapes, for example, is 10 to 12 grapes. That's a serving. Any more than that, you're going to be getting too many calories contributed to by sugar. And so this container says that a serving is 1/4 of a cup, which is about 40 grams, and it turns out that 40 grams, 1/4 of a cup, which we measured out with this cup, is actually about 70 grapes. So 70 raisins equals 70 grapes. That's 7 servings based on fresh fruit servings of sugar. So 1/4 of a cup is 31 grams of carbohydrates, 26 grams of sugars. So these are like those little boxes, those little snack boxes that you put in your kids' lunches. So imagine you're like 1/3 of the size of me and Janice, and you're eating 70 grapes worth of sugar, and you wonder why your kid gets diagnosed with ADD and then gets put on medication. So I would say at least this is, you know, raisins, so that's good, but you gotta watch if you're having that as a snack. That might be something that goes in something. So we can keep that, but we're gonna be very mindful. All right, so we have these crackers. Once again, Janice is trying to buy some healthy stuff. It's grain-free almond flour crackers. I do like this brand. Very small ingredient list. Tapioca starch, nut and seed flour blend from almonds, sunflower seeds, and flax seeds. So that's a pretty good mix of generally healthy nuts and seeds. We've got organic sunflower oil. So it's not the healthiest oil, but at least it's organic and it's not canola or soy, right? We've got sea salt, organic onion, organic garlic, and rosemary extract. And no sugar. It's got like 0 grams of added sugar and 0 grams of actual sugar. So this is better. It's higher in protein, higher in fat, good healthy fats, and so that's a keep.
That's a keeper.
That's a keep. Okay, let's look at some cooking oils, because in the day of convenience, right, we want to just be able to spray stuff, and there's good sprays and bad sprays. So the classic was Pam, and easy cleanup. It says no artificial preservatives, flavors, or colors, so hey, that's great. But it is canola oil, coconut oil, which I'm okay with, and palm oil, as well as soy and anti-foaming agent. So there's anti-foaming chemicals in here. And once again, the canola, we don't recommend canola at all, so we're gonna toss that. And then this one is natural butter flavor non-stick cooking spray for apparently fat-free cooking. I don't even know how that works. But the first ingredient is soybean oil. So it might say butter on it, and I'm okay with ghee and cooking with healthy grass-fed butter. That's a good healthy fat. You just don't want, like, there's example of ghee, that's clarified butter from grass-fed cows. That is a good cooking oil. If you want butter flavor, just cook with butter. This is soy oil, natural flavors that are derived from milk, so there is dairy in here, and dimethyl silicone for anti-foaming. So it does contain dairy and soy. This is not a health, that's a toss for sure. This is like olive oil in a spray thing. A lot of people don't like messing with this, and they do now have olive oil in like one of those commercial spray things.
I have that in the back there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Let's see. Extra virgin olive oil. So this is what you should be cooking with instead, or cook with ghee or even coconut oil. That would be a much better. And even duck fat or like duck lard or beef tallow from grass-fed. Those are really good cooking oils. We don't want to have vegetable or really these weird seed oils. Okay, so let's see. We've got another snack here. This is breakfast bars. They're gluten-free, so it sounds like it should be healthy. But remember, just because it's gluten-free doesn't mean it's sugar-free or inflammation-free. Honey oat, that sounds reasonable. Let's see what we got here. So first ingredient is oats, then it's tapioca syrup, brown rice flour, but sadly they're using canola oil. So imagine how many servings of canola oil you're getting every day if you're starting with a canola oil cereal or canola oil bar, and then you're cooking later with canola oil, and you're just eating stuff with canola oil. Raisin paste, they're using that as a sweetener. I told you raisins were high in sugar. So cane sugar, raisin paste, and honey. 3 sweeteners, boom, 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 back to back. So now we've got a total of 9 grams of sugars in one of these little bars with a total of 33 grams of carbohydrates. Now the grains in here are actually pretty good because oats was the first one, and then we have millet, buckwheat, amaranth, quinoa. Those are all gluten-free. They're generally a good combination, but it's just such a bummer they can't use healthier oils. Like if they just use coconut oil in here, we would keep it. I would say probably a toss because of the canola oil. All right, do we have time for one more? Let's look at these breadcrumbs. America's favorite Italian-style breadcrumbs. Even using an air fryer. Like if you're using an air fryer, at least you're not deep frying, right? So ingredients, wheat flour. So that's going to be a no if you're trying to be grain-free or gluten-free, salt, a vegetable oil, and your choices are, because you never really know what they're using, they give you it's safflower, soybean, sunflower, and canola. So these are all terrible for you oils. And then it's got some yeast, sugar, and then spices. So I'd probably ixnay these. What we use for breadcrumbs is just get some gluten-free breadcrumbs, or you can just get almond meal and season it up and spritz it with your healthy olive oil, and then just throw it in the air fryer and you can do lots of breading.
It'll crisp up?
Yeah, it'll crisp up.
Okay.
So that's a toss. We'll get you some healthier options. So I think that's a pretty good start. We'll take a break, and in a follow-up video, I'm gonna go on to the computer and I'm gonna show you some really good solutions or replacement ideas for these, the cereal, the snacks, the dried fruit, the flowers, things like that. But you get to keep some.
Yes.
So that's
Very
good.